Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking finally about Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. I have been waiting to read this book since it came out in September, but my library didn't purchase this book until just like a month ago or so. So I was, I think, the first person to read this copy of Empire of Storms that's in my library system. Finally. So over New Year's, I took a trip to my husband's parents' house in Tennessee, and it was just absolutely perfect to sit by the fire in a really comfy chair and read Empire Storms. As frustrated as I was that I wasn't able to read it right away, I think I honestly did read it at the perfect time because it was so cozy, and there's something about it being wintry and cold outside and sitting by a fire and reading Empire of Storms, or any fantasy book for that matter, that's just absolutely perfect. If you haven't yet read Empire of Storms, there isn't really anything that I can say to you that isn't going to be a spoiler besides read these books. I promise you they are well worth it. And what's really great about these books is that the characters and the plot just develops further and further with each book, so it's a series that you cannot get disappointed with. I'm going to go into the spoiler part of this video. I know the intro wasn't that long, but we just got to talk about this book. I was a little bit disappointed in the beginning of Empire of Storms because Queen of Shadows left me in such a high that I expected Empire of Storms to just kick off being amazing like the ending of Queen of Shadows, because with the ending of Queen of Shadows, we have the king defeated, Dorian was set free, and then Aelin and her court have arrived at Terrasen. So it just seemed like everything was going to be beautiful, the beginning was going to be great, but instead they're wandering around in the wilderness. They have a meeting with this crotchety old guy who basically tells Aelin that she's never going to be queen, and then they leave. Like, the whole book I thought was going to take place in Terrasen, or at least part of it. She was going to establish her kingdom, establish her rule. So I think I was just very thrown off by the beginning. It wasn't what I expected at all. And then whenever the court gets split up, I just don't feel as happy reading the book. So it wasn't until they got to Skulls Bay and everyone was back together that I finally more so started getting into the plot a little bit more. And then the first part where I really freaked out was when Lysandra became the sea dragon. I just think her character has developed tremendously, and now she is a beast, literally and figuratively, and that whole scene with her as the sea dragon was like absolutely torture to read. I was freaking out the entire time, and it was really that point. I know it was about halfway through the book, but it was that point where I really thought, okay, Empire Storms, you've got this. I feel the spark again. Also, I didn't expect there to be more ships in this book. I already thought we had quite a few with Dorian Manon, which just love that ship. Elide and Lorcan honestly came out of absolutely nowhere. I thought we had enough couples pairing off as it was, but apparently that's not enough for Sarah J Maas. She has to have everyone paired off with somebody and has to give everyone a love story, which I appreciate, but I kind of wasn't expecting it, and I actually really did enjoy Elide and Lorcan. Whenever we would switch to their character perspective, I actually really did enjoy reading about them, and I didn't think that I would because I was so invested in the other characters that part of me is like, why am I wasting time reading about these brand new characters when we can just be learning more about the ones we've already established? But I actually did really like their story. I mean, I'm trash for the hate to love kind of romance, so you got me there. As for now, I'm just enjoying it. I'm just a little bit confused about why it was added. I am so excited for Manon and Dorian. I knew there was something there, especially at the end of Queen of Shadows that ends with Dorian seeing Manon fly off, and I just knew. And there is something way deeper than their superficial attraction to each other. I just know it. I can't wait to hear what it is, because I don't think she's gonna disappoint us, Sarah J Maas, with Dorian and Manon, because I think she knows that some of us are just completely obsessed with them. Also, did anyone else suspect that Aelin was plotting to get all of these armies together? Because I was completely thrown off by what she did, even though she did stuff like this in Queen of Shadows, so I shouldn't have been too surprised, but it's like I almost forgot about that character trait of hers entirely. I think also what threw me off a lot was the fact that we were in her perspective, but yet we, the reader, still didn't know. But I was a little bit confused as to why she didn't really tell anyone else about them. Like, I know she just didn't want to say anything and have them be disappointed, but I think one thing that Aelin is struggling with is trusting everyone in her court, and I don't understand how she doesn't trust these people so far, who have like given their lives for her pretty much, and they put everything down to follow her, and yet she still isn't giving everyone like her full plots and plans. Like, how can she call them her court if she keeps them like clueless half the time? And do you actually think this plan of Lysandra pretending to be Aelin for the rest of her life is gonna go through? Because I see that as being pretty disastrous, honestly. I don't think it would really work. And then the fact that Aedion and Lysandra would be making children like secretly, it's just so weird and far-fetched, and I kind of can't believe that Aelin came up with that. It sounds like a good idea, idea, but I think in practice it would be pretty much doomed from the start. And now, since I'm talking about the ending, I don't want to say anything to spoil anyone, but if you've read A Court of Thorns and Roses, what about that ending in comparison to the ending with Empire of Storms? I'm not going to say anything because I don't really want to spoil it if you haven't yet read it, but I mean, there were some similarities there. If you know what I'm talking about, you can definitely message me here on YouTube or through my Instagram account and we can just talk about it, because I don't want to, like I said before, spoil anything for those of you who haven't read that other wonderful series by Sarah J Maas. So what did you think about Rowan and Aelin finally getting together? I definitely was a fan of it because I'd come around to Rowan since Queen of Shadows, but I also felt a little bit removed from them, and I think it was because we did get their perspectives, but because the book wasn't solely in Rowan or Aelin's perspective, I feel like we weren't able to be as connected with them as we could have been, and I think that's definitely the downfall when an author uses so many different character perspectives, is that we don't get to feel intimately connected to our main characters, to the extent that I honestly don't feel like Aelin and Rowan really are main characters anymore. I know that she's the one running the ship, she's the, you know, the queen, the promised one. I still just feel a disconnect, and I think that only way that really could have been remedied was if this book had been solely in her perspective or Rowan's perspective. But I don't know, if you love the different characters' perspectives, like, I actually do really enjoy it, but there are just downfalls to that, and that's just one of them. And back to the ending again. So I do not think that Aelin is actually going to have to die. I mean, that's just me being hopeful, but I think they're gonna find a way around her dying. Although I could easily see Sarah J Maas doing this to make it just like this wonderful ending. I mean, having a main character die is obviously a really bold thing to do. I am 100% thinking that there is a way that they are going to get out of it, because I just think the world that Sarah J Maas has created will be so much better with Aelin, Rowan kind of ruling over Terrasen. I just don't know how they're going to get there. Thoughts for the next book? I honestly have no clue what is going to happen in this next book, because I obviously didn't know it was going to happen in Empire of Storms. I was pretty shocked that we weren't even in Terrasen. Obviously, we're going to have a lot to do with Mauve, which I kind of don't care about. I'd rather just focus on one evil guy, but I guess we're going to focus on Mauve too. And I really hope that Rowan rescues Aelin in this next book. It would suck if Aelin was just captured the whole time. That would be a big downer, and I probably wouldn't enjoy the book that much if that's how it turned out. But please let me know all your thoughts and theories for Empire of Storms and for the next book. I would just love to hear what you loved, what you hated, and if you agreed with any of the things I said. So thank you for watching and happy reading.